If you are interested in starting your own podcast, we use Buzzsprout because it is simple and easy to use. Buzzsprout can get your show listed on every major platform while giving you the resources for a great podcast website, audio players that can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening to your podcast, and tools to promote your episodes. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and that is why over 100,000 podcasters are already subscribed to Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Following the link in our episode descriptions lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you. So in return, you will receive a $20 Amazon gift card from Buzzsprout while signing up for a paid plan. Most importantly, every subscription through our link is always appreciated and helps support our show so we can continue delivering the quality content that you guys listen to. That being said, back to the show.
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Junkies. I'm Andrew,
This is Joe.
and this time we're coming at you with the $25 holler. Very similar to the $10 holler we did a little while back. Books, keys, 10 and under. And now we're gonna do 25 and under. Maybe we'll do some more price points as we move forward. But what's up, Joe? You over there cracking up? What's going on?
You got a funny rhythm to you today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I
Good.
can't explain it, but
I don't know. How'd that Baconator treat you?
so I ended up doubling up on two Asiago Chicken Ranch clubs because I
Oh
had a
shit.
coupon,
Did
buy
you
one,
cross your
get one
legs?
for $1. But no,
Artisanal.
yeah, good
Sick.
deals at Wendy's through the app. Highly
Uh,
recommend it.
oh, you got the app. I ain't ever peeped the app.
Yeah, it's on par with McDonald's app.
Oh shit. I'm not
It's up
familiar with
there.
either. That's
Free
cool.
Fry Friday with any purchase, free Baconators for every 800 points you earn.
800 points? Is that like per dollar or what?
No, that's crazy, bro. I don't know. I'll just show up and buy stuff and I'll get like a hundred plus points or something. Maybe it's like every $10 you spend, you get like 100 points,
Okay.
if I was guessing. But I have so many books on this list, and this list is a lot more questionable for me because it was hard to like determine like can you still get this book for $10, or on the other side of it, like has it become closer to a $50 book? I found this list a little more difficult to piece together than the last list, but I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, great segue from whatever we were rambling about just into, what about these comics? I've got so many of them. Props to you, my boy. But
Thank
no,
you.
yeah, I've got a good amount too. I actually dug through the bins this time in preparation, so I should have a little bit to pull from this time. And I was looking, I was kind of price referencing with eBay a little bit and some other stuff just to make sure that like it's still attainable in this range. There might be a few that you could get at probably $30, but since we set $25, I'm just gonna ballpark it there since we're not gonna do like a 30 and under. But you know what I mean. So let's get into it. Where do you want to start? I actually have mine split up by like company for the most part. Well, Marvel keys and DC keys, or we could just tit for tat. I don't know. We got a lot to rifle off here. We're gonna stop and chop these boys up. What are we doing?
Yeah, I got a lot of Marvel. Maybe let's start there.
Let's bounce them off each other, figure out what we got.
Okay, sounds good. I guess
25 and under.
I'll start. So I think Spider-Man 2099 issue one is worth the $25 purchase. I think you can get it for less than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But there's so many debates on like the first appearance that I feel like the safest book out of all of them is the first full, which is this issue.
and it's a cool cover.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't buy into like I don't know, there's like what, like that Black Amazing Spider-Man issue. It's like 360 something.
365.
Yeah, and then there's also that like is it Web of Spider-Man, that like red cover that's got like
I
the
don't know.
preview in it. I don't know. But anyways,
I don't count that. I did. I
2099 is I think the best one to go with because I feel like there's less wrong with it. Like there's at least going for it or
I
going wrong for it.
I tend to agree, but I did also put 365 actually on my list. And I put that kind of in the headspace of that you get both. But I think you can get both for 25 and under each, decent copies at least. So I feel like getting both of them just to cover your bases, whatever the Web of Spider-Man one is, I would disregard. The market's already kind of settled on these, and I feel like they're the better two. So I would say either one, but yeah, to Joe's point, I think you're getting more of what you want by getting the Spider-Man 2099 one. Plus, it's sick. The cover's sweet.
For sure. All right. Let's hear one.
So yeah, since I did have Spider-Man 365 on there, let me also say, I'll just pick one at random because I do have a couple more Spideys too, but I'm gonna go New Mutants 26. It's the first full appearance of Legion. I feel like for an X-Men key, pretty solid. You could actually get issue 25, the first cameo, for even less. Probably like a nice one for $20, but you could probably get like a copy for like $10 or whatever. But both of those, I mean, I did like the show, was a prominent character. It's a good buy. I feel like there's not like a ton of New Mutants. I mean, there's like one and then obviously 87, and Deadpool and all that. But I don't know. Cool key, my opinion. What you think?
No, I don't think that's a bad book. I'll start going through my Spider-Man stuff, I guess, while we're on topic. Web of Spider-Man 18 and 36. So 18 is the first cameo app of Eddie Brock. It's just his hand in the shadow, but it's a pretty cool part of his story.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this book's gonna skyrocket. So when you're paying your $25 or whatever, I don't think it's an investment book, but I do think it's a book worth having. And then Web of Spider-Man 36 is the first Tombstone. I don't think it'll ever be a huge Spider-Man character, but I see him appearing in more and more stuff as like a minor villain. And so I don't think you can go wrong there because I mean, Spider-Man's such a street level character that even the minor villains are kind of cool.
Yeah, he makes good pizza too. But I also got a couple Spider-Man keys. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 21, the wedding issue. So there's actually two of these variants, one where he's in Spider-Man, he's got his villains and whatnot and supporting cast, and then the other one where he's getting married on the cover as Peter Parker. I feel like they're not going to be like monumental books like investment wise or anything, but I feel like they're like a cool time, especially when Spider-Man was like good back then. It's just like iconic covers too. They're cool to have. It's nice to have as like a set and stuff like that, but it's not like a huge thing to grab. And then also Amazing Spider-Man 30 from Volume 2, which is like the first Morlun. So if you're familiar with Spider-Verse, I mean, obviously you're familiar with him, the Inheritors and all that, the energy vampires, you get the spider totems and all that stuff. I feel like it's pretty cool and fairly attainable.
Yeah, I had the first Moreland on my list too, so that's a good shout out. I didn't put the wedding ones on there, but to your point, it is probably my favorite wedding of any superhero
Yeah,
character. So, I mean, there's plenty of them, but that one's probably the best one. So, yeah, definitely a cool place and time. Let's see here. I got Amazing Spider-Man 700. So I think that's the first full Superior Spider-Man other than like his issue one. In the variant that Ditko did, he has Superior Spider-Man written on the cover, I believe, which makes me feel like issue 700 was intended to be the book, but also it's the last issue of volume one, and it's also the death of Spider-Man 2. So classic cover kind of reminds me of issue 300 that way.
mm,
But I think that's a good book to get for Spider-Man collectors. And then I actually don't have one of these myself, but Amazing Spider-Man 569. So that's the cameo app of Anti-Venom. I mean, like I was kind of saying in, was it the episode before or the one before that, that like
yeah.
I'm kind of bored of like all the variants of like
Venom,
Venom.
Venom,
Yeah, but
Venom.
this is probably the last of it that's acceptable. Yeah,
Tend to
I
agree.
I don't think that
It's
that's a bad book for 25.
it's on the fringe for me. There's something about it that I want to keep at arm's length, but you know what I mean, Doug? Like, don't get too close. You're weird. Like, what is that?
All
They
right.
are doing too much with the Venom stuff, but I digress.
All
I'm
right.
all out of Spider-Man. Do you mind if I just rifle off a few random ones?
Wait, let me finish my Spider-Man and then
Oh,
go
I don't
for
know.
it.
How deep is the Spider-Man well?
Yeah, just a few more books. So I got
Run,
I
run it.
got Spider-Man issue one of, is it volume one? The Todd McFarlane series,
Yeah,
especially the black cover. I think that one's kind of cool.
yeah.
I think we did that for a giveaway one time. Spider-Man issue seven of the new series, first Spider-Boy. I feel like not only did he get his own series recently, but like there's been first appearances in like every other issue of that. So I don't think that that's going away anytime soon. And then my last Spider book, from what I can see, is Venom Lethal Protector issue one. I think those are really popular and always will be.
I agree.
All right, go crazy.
Oh, I'm not. I only got a handful on here that I thought like made the cut like strictly. So I might have mentioned it last time, but Dark Hawk won because it's silly and it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Uh,
I put that too. Is that his first app or no? Is that just issue
yeah.
one? Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Some people will say there's like a Marvel Age, but that's like a preview, and most people don't accept that, I guess. Some will. Some Someone who probably just heard me say that's gonna be like angry, just fuming, turning full blown tomato. But anywho, Incredible Hulk 347, Joe Fixit. I feel like you could always find one for about 25 bucks. Great book. Sometimes they go a
Great
little
book.
higher, but consistently great book.
Yeah, absolutely.
I put Infinity Gauntlet issue one just because it's the first issue of that and it's a classic storyline. Pretty cool. And then I have Fantastic Four King Size Special Four, which is the first Silver Age Jim Hammond, the Golden Age Human Torch. I feel like you could find those for honestly around 25 bucks.
I didn't even think of that book. That's a great shout out because I feel like that should make like a $50 on Uplist, but it's not a $50 book.
No, I just got one for 20 bucks.
I think I got mine for about that too. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a good one to keep an eye out for. Like I said, Silver Age, Golden Age, Human Torch, Jim Hammond. And then I did put on here Miss Marvel 9, Deathbird. You know, it's not huge. She was featured in the X-Men animated series, which if you're new here, we loved. If you are old hat, then you already know. But it was cool to see her there. And then I mean, it's just a decent book for, cool villain for typically like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. It's not bad. But I didn't have anything too crazy on my Marvel list. I feel like more of the cooler stuff is on the DC side for the price point, surprisingly. So yeah, what else you got though?
Oh my God, I got a lot. So,
Oh shiznit.
Immortal Hulk one, not really a first appearance of anything, but I do think it's a book worth picking up for 25 because it's probably the most critically acclaimed series in my time collecting. And whether you just read it, whether you just want to own a copy, it's like the best thing that blends like Marvel and horror together. So, big fan of that book. For Daredevil, I got issue 111. So, that's the first appearance of Lady Bullseye. I feel like Bullseye's been so popular lately that it wouldn't hurt to take a flyer on Lady Bullseye for
Yeah.
25 bucks. For Avengers, I got issue 144. That's the first Hellcat. I think that book's kind of slept on personally. I think that should be like a $75 book, but I feel like you can still get it between maybe it's a $50 book, but I feel like I got mine for closer to 25. So if you can find it, cool. If it's a $50 book, my bad.
Damn.
I got Black Widow issue one, so arguably the first full Yelena Belova. So Black Widow's sister. She's been showing up at everything, especially
Uh,
with what's her name playing her, Florence Pugh.
PU. What you do, fart? What is
Do
she
you
sitting in
smell
church?
do you smell popcorn?
What was it? Is that a duck? Someone step on a duck?
I can't believe you didn't say this one.
But
Devil Dinosaur issue one.
some would argue that it's worth more than gold. So I couldn't put
Is
it.
that why it didn't make your list?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's really stupid. Fantastic Four issue 209. So that's the first Herbie. He's already appeared in the trailer for the new Fantastic Four movie, but I
The
bought that
love bug.
book not knowing it was Herbie. I'm pretty sure I known that book as the first burn on Fantastic Four. So
Wow.
there's kind of two reasons to pick up that book, in my opinion. Yes, I got Hulk issue two. So that's the first Red Hulk, full Red Hulk. Issue one is the book to get. That's way over 25 bucks, but he actually only appears on the cover of that. So I don't think it's bad to pick up issue two for 25. In that same volume, issues 15 and 16 are the first Red She-Hulk. But going back to Hulk's volume one, I think 166 and 168 are good books to have. 166 is that lightning guy. I can't even pronounce his name. It's a bunch of X's and Z's and stuff. Zax?
Zaxby.
Zaxby's. And 168, which is the first Harpy. I feel like all Hulk stuff is really cheap. And so, I mean, for $25, I'm probably going to take a flyer on a lot of those characters.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Another Hulk character, but it appears in Secret Wars Marvel. What is it called?
Superheroes.
Yeah, Secret Wars issue three. First Titania. I think that's a cool book. And then I think the last of my Marvel stuff is all X-Men stuff. So I got X-Men 139. Wolverine gets his yellow and brown costume. Kitty Pryde also joins the X-Men. I got issue 168, so that's the first Madeline Pryor.
Mm.
If you watch the animated series, that was a pretty big deal. I didn't put Nimrod on this list because I think you can still get it for about 10, but honestly, if it's a $25 book, I'm okay paying that for that as well. Issue 268 is a classic cover. Berger hates it because Black Widow has this like Trump haircut. Um, but it's considered a classic cover, and I've even seen it on like short boxes. So I feel like that book just needs to be referenced once, and it will appreciate. I got X Factor 5 and 6, so
Yeah.
First Apocalypse. I know for sure you can get issue 5 for 25 and under. I don't know if you could
Hmm.
still get issue 6 for that price, but I feel like they're always cheaper than you expect them to be. So again,
Yeah.
apologize if that's a $50 book, but if you do enough digging, you could probably find a lot of $50 books for 25. And then last but not least, the regular X-Men series. So issue 4 is the first Omega Red. I think that's a safe purchase for 25 and under. And then X-Men 53 is the first Onslaught. So they haven't done much with him, but if they ever did, I feel like that book is probably going to take off a little bit as well. I don't see it being more than a $50 book at any point in time, but I do think it could be a purchase that appreciates.
Facts. I go sign that list. Turn
Yep,
it
and
up
that's
on
all
DC
my
style.
yeah, that's all my Marvel stuff. So I think we're good to hit DC.
Adventure Comics 352, first appearance of the Fatal Five. Cool Legion of Superhero Villains.
Bro. I am so sorry. One more book for
Oh,
Marvel.
brother.
We referenced it the last episode, The Hand. It's
Mm.
a $10 book, but if you can get the hand for 25, I don't think that's a bad idea.
I'd still get the hand. I'd definitely get the hand for 25. Sometimes I see it going for more.
Yeah. It might make the $50 list too when we make one of those, but 10, 25, whatever. Depends. Depends on how good the hand is.
Love some good hand. Can't forget about the hand.
Yeah, but let's go to DC.
Everyone look for hand. So Adventure Comics 352, first Fatal Five, Cool Legion of Superheroes villain team. Adventure Comics 369, first Mordrew. Just cool, used in the Justice League animated stuff. The well runs deep. More sorcerer type BS. Running through. I got an Animal Man 1 on here because that's a cool book. It's a good run. Solo series time.
Grant Morrison, kind of
Sick.
heyday Grant Morrison.
We reviewed that first volume if you want to go back. Self plug. Then I got DC Comics Presents 27, which is Mongol. I feel like that's a slept on book for how big he could be.
Bro, for sure.
Like he's a big tuna, like and like the whole War World stuff could like easily be like adapted or something.
Why
Um,
is that book so cheap?
right. So keep your eyes peeled for that one.
That
Um,
one, if it ever appreciated to like $75 one day, I would not be surprised. I feel
that would
like
make
that's your
sense.
next Lobo.
Yeah, same type of book. I get that. It's a good count. DC Comics Presents 87 for Superboy Prime. I feel like that's sweet.
I feel like people don't understand how strong Superboy Prime is.
The strongest
They
going
could
through
make a
reality.
whole like Justice League versus him.
He
You know
lives
what
in
I
our
mean?
world.
Yeah.
That's sick. But slept on book, you can get that for 25 easy peasy. Firestorm 1 because yeah, good book. I mean, if you read any DC event, he's there. Very strong. He's been on TV shows. Cool character. Green Lantern 201, Kilowog.
You know what? I found one for like $5 recently,
Yeah.
and I almost picked it up, even though I have a really clean copy from you.
Just get
Like
one on principle.
I almost just bought it on principle.
You have to. I've been coming around to that because I'm like, I need to save my money for like new acquisitions, but it's like that shouldn't be sitting there. It's like I should just buy it. But
Right.
sometimes I'm like feeling like good for some reason. I'm and I'm like, I'll leave that for someone else. They need it more than me. And I'm
Yeah,
just
it's like
like,
when you see some change on the ground, it's like, do you pick it up or do you leave it for the next person?
right, gonna pay it forward. That's for you. And by pay it forward, I mean let you have it.
I
So
think I'm open to buying multiple copies of a book if it's cheaper than what I paid and it's nicer than the one I currently have. But I feel like it's got to be both for me because if it's just cheaper and it's not nicer, I don't know that I'm gonna pick it up again
makes sense. It's nice to have as like trade fodder though. It's all purely upside.
for sure.
But either way, bartering tools or not, You know what? Let's hear some of your list because I'll just keep running these down. Wait, actually, I got a couple big ones that I should say. Star Slayer 2, not DC, but it was in my DC minor key box. I just want to get that one out there. First Rocketeer. You can get that for 25 bucks. It's a really cool book. Plus, everybody's been on the Dave Stevens kick.
That's why I
So
wondered if it was like a $50 book now.
not from what I was seeing, but yeah, it's still affordable, and I feel like it's still slept on. And then it's also a Vertigo book, but Preacher 13, first appearance of Harris Star, just in case you, one, are familiar with the show, or I mean, you actually read the book and you're just like, cool, I want like a notable character like Key, because there's, I mean, you really got like Arseface, and then basically everybody else is in like issue one, unless you want to get like Queen Cannon, or we want to get smaller than that. Even the Saint of Killers is at like one. So it's like if you want a key, Hair Star is cool. A few other characters as well. Damn, what are their names? That's embarrassing. His subordinates though. But good book. And then New Teen Titans Annual number 2, First Vigilante. Cool book. As you know, if you're not new here, big fan of Peacemaker and John Cena in general. He just turned heel for the first time in 22 years at Elimination Chamber, Joe. I thought you should know. John Cena is no longer the good guy for the first time in over 2 decades. He betrayed Cody Rhodes at the request of The Rock.
No.
I know, but that's your wrestling minute. And then, yeah, so Peacemaker, and then I mean, it's a new Teen Titans book, cool character design. There's a billion vigilantes, but now Adrian Chase seems to be the one. So there you go.
Not only that, but it's also the first like Cheshire Cat, which is like a Green Arrow character. I feel
Oh,
like any Green Arrow characters are like $10 or less. So for the fact that you get this included with the Vigilante, it makes it a good deal.
facts. I'd buy it if it was just Vigilante. Oh, Justice League of America 64, the first appearance of the Red Tornado.
You think,
I looked.
no way.
They're not very expensive.
I have it as $25 in like my personal Excel sheet and how I appreciate books, but I feel like that shouldn't be 25.
It shouldn't be 25, but it is 25.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I mean, get one of those if you find it. That's a cool book for like nothing.
That's
Uh,
rude. I feel
it
like
is.
that has to make like a $50 book.
It should be. I don't. Ah, you got me, dog. But keep your eyes peeled. Nice price point. Superman 182 Toyman. It's just a newer iteration of Toyman, but you know, pretty popular version. Relatively early. 182 is not for how many?
I didn't even
is-
think of that. That's a really good shout out too.
Hell yeah. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. I've almost gone through my whole list, so my apologies, dog. Teen Titans 23, the new Wonder Girl costume. You can find those for around that price. Cool book.
I can't,
Yeah, I don't know what your deal is.
where I look every time.
That's crazy.
Can't find it.
Just wait.
I feel like
'Cause I got
one's got 20 of them.
he's got at least two.
The one time our LCS picked it up, you got it. So
Had
I don't
to.
know.
Yeah, I don't know, Doug. It'll come your way. Just gotta be patient. Saga of the Swamp Thing 21. The Alan Moore new origin of Swamp Thing. Cool book. Kind of changes the take on the character in a big way. So yeah. And I mean, who doesn't love Swamp Thing? And if you're not hip to Swamp Thing, get hip to Swamp Thing. And I mean, I'm sure there's a couple others I probably missed, but or I was being too strict on, but let's hear what you got, dog.
Yeah, I guess speaking of Swamp Thing, I got his issue 50, which is, I think, considered the first unofficial Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark's a pretty big deal. Once there's a consensus on which one of the books to get, because it's kind of spread out across a few different issues, I feel like that book appreciates. My money's on Swamp Thing 50.
Swamp Thing.
I don't think that issue one of Justice League Dark is a bad idea either, but I think that's more of a $15 book. And I think issue 50 predating all of that makes the
Yeah.
most sense for me. What do we got here? I got Superman, Man of Steel, issues 17 and 18. This book makes
Yeah.
me so angry because I feel like this should be like $100+. It was one of the first key issues I ever purchased for myself with my own money.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few books that has never appreciated. It stays permanently like $15 to $25. And it's the character that killed Superman. It was like such an important story that it was like the most printed comic almost ever, other than like that new X-Men run. Like
Right.
what is going on? Why don't people like Doomsday?
There's just too many.
I know, but like, come on.
No, there's a lot.
But
Because he is cool. Don't get me
like
wrong. He's
for
iconic.
$15 though.
Yeah, I mean, these books are like the $20 equivalent of like a coupon that doesn't expire. Like you could buy it for 20, you could sell it for 20. It doesn't change.
Yeah, it's been like that since the dawn of time.
And
At least since the 90s.
it was here
And
before us, it'll be here after us.
yeah, it won't appreciate, but it's the best $20 you've spent on a comic.
Oh shit.
So,
It's better than a bond.
yeah, it's like a bond.
Oh man.
Oh man, poor Doomsday. I got Wonder Woman issue 1 of the George Perez series, especially with that Wonder Woman TV show that's supposed to come out eventually one day. Nobody's ever going to be able to afford a issue 1 of volume 1, so I think issue 1 of volume 2 is cool, especially because it's probably the best Wonder Woman story.
Mm,
I don't know, best one that's popular anyway.
damn near.
Can you get a new Teen Titans issue 1 for like $25?
Probably. I don't know.
That might be a $50 book, but if it's
You
around
might be
that
able to find
price.
one for there.
Yeah. Green Lantern issue 25, first cameo
Yeah.
app of Atrocitus and Larfleeze. It's their cameo apps of both. So, I mean, I would still take a look at their first full appearances, but those are closer to $10. This book has like 15 different cameos, it feels like. And so I
Yeah.
don't think that that's a bad book to pick up.
Nope.
Green Lantern 49, classic cover. I don't see it ever being more than a $50 book, but gotta love the cover. Detective Comics 469, First Doctor Phosphorus. It's a book I picked up
Ooh.
for $10. Now I think it's like a $25 book with the Creature Commandos. And I don't see it getting too much more expensive than it is now, but it's still Batman. It's still Detective Comics. And I think you mentioned it before. It's kind of like OG Blight for people that
Yeah.
watched Batman Beyond. So I think that book's cool. Action Comics 521. That's going to be the first app of Vixen.
Mm-hmm.
It is the first black female member of the Justice League of America,
Yeah.
which could make it a decent investment book. But standalone, really cool character. If you ever watched the Justice League animated series, her and what's his name? John Stewart
Yeah.
had quite a fling in that. So, pretty prominent character, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's used a lot moving forward. But my last two books are Green Lantern books. So, issue 48 is the first cameo app of Kyle Rayner. That's a book worth investing in. I mean, Hal Jordan's everybody's Green Lantern, and people really like John Stewart and Guy Gardner, but Kyle Rayner's a pretty big deal too. So, I think that's a book to stock up on. And then Justice League issue 31, I said it's a Green Lantern book because it's the first full Jessica Cruz. They
Mm.
got that Lantern show coming out. I doubt she's in it, but if she ever does pop up in something mainstream, I think that that book appreciates pretty well.
I think she's supposed to be in the new animated series they announced.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I think it's My Adventures with Green Lantern. It's supposed to be like the My Adventures with Superman, but I think it's with Jessica Cruz, unless I'm mistaken.
I don't know, but I do think it's a character that's got some staying power.
That'll be a
My
thing.
last books are indie books. I got two. So Miracle Man issue 1. It's Alan Moore's British version of Shazam. I like it. It's a pretty mature story. So even if you don't buy it as an investment book, I think it's a good book to read. And then not a huge fan of the character, but Angela appears in Spawn issue
Spawn.
9. I mentioned Spawn issue 1 in the last $10 and under book, so that's probably a $25 book. But issue
Yeah.
9 is right there with it. So that's all
Yeah.
she wrote.
Good list. Cosign again. Even though I don't care for the Angela. I'll say that. I'll stand on that. Does nothing for me. But it
Hey,
is nonetheless
Red Skull or Angela?
Red Skull. Right. Way cooler. I was gonna go back to say a Miracle Man. I want to get some of those Golden Age issues where he's Marvel Man. Those are hard to come by. Those are sick. I mean, I'd just be buying random ones though, because I don't think I could find anything like legit for whatever reason. I've tried looking, but I digress. Well, that's this episode. That's the $25 holler. That's the 25 and under price point. Maybe, an extra $5 here and there. We'll see. But maybe we do this again. We bump it up a little bit and run it from like, I don't know, let's say 50 or something. I feel like that's a good price point. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But anywho's it, you can catch up with us on Instagram at CBJ Pod, on Facebook at CBJ Podcast, Comic Book Junkies Podcast. If you're on Google, YouTube, wherever, you could find us wherever. Rating, reviewing, subscribing, leaving the star rating, all that stuff's really beneficial for the algorithm and the network. We appreciate it if you do it. If not, you take your time. We appreciate you if you do. And we'll catch you next time.
Till next time.